What's up, everybody? I am Jesse. We're GameOverJesse, as you all may know me. Here with us is our guest, Miss Click, for our Zelda Mailbag for the Hylian's Gamescast. We also have Chiblima, Ilya, and Daniel. So today, in case you guys don't know what the Zelda Mailbag is, if you're just clicking on the video because you've seen Miss Click in the title, this is where you can ask your Zelda questions for each of us to answer on the next Zelda Mailbag. Or if you happen to be watching live, you can give us your questions live, and if it's good enough, we will try our best to answer it. But if you want your question to be guaranteed to be answered on the show, or if you would just like to get sent one of these cool shirts that has all of us from the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where your question will be guaranteed to be answered on the show. And many more cool things. Shirt. So, yes, the shirt was fan art by a really cool person, Jonathan. So, thank you. Alright. Does anyone have a question picked out that they would like to see? Anyone have our
ones at the end of the Google Doc are just weird, and I don't understand. I don't want to. Yeah.
Okay, well, that very last one I can answer in like 10 seconds.
Cool.
We're just gonna jump into it. Okay, we're doing this. Norman Albera asks, why don't all the links just pass down the items they've obtained on their journeys to the next hero? Why would they? They can't. There's like hundreds of years between the games, sometimes thousands in the case of Breath of the Wild. How do you do that? You're dead.
I think he's probably just thinking it's kind of like an Avatar scenario where when one link dies, the next one's reborn, and they just kind of like pass them on. But it's legitimately like things are taken care of, possessions are passed on, probably like family heirlooms, stuff like that.
Yeah. The only case that I can think of that kind of happening was in Twilight Princess. The bow you get was supposedly a previous hero's bow, which was kind of passed on to you via the Gorons. So it doesn't seem very feasible. I don't think they're planning ahead, being like, well, Ganon's dead, but I'll make sure that when I get reincarnated or another iteration of my hero's spirit comes up, that he'll be ready for this threat that I've been eliminated. So already.
Thank you, Avatar Link.
Yes.
The question that I pick comes from Nemi. I guess that's how you pronounce it. And they say, he's in the live chat, of course. Says, would you guys want the Happy Mask Salesman for another Zelda game? Now, to add to this, I would say, not do we want him for another game, but if there was a spin-off game, such as the Tingle games or something, that had him as the lead character, what kind of wacky story could you guys imagine to go along with it?
How he found Majora's Mask.
Oh, so you're thinking like prequel sort of deal?
I don't know. That was just the first thing that came to mind.
Because right now he's only in Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and then it's probably a different Happy Mask Salesman who's in one of the Oracle games. I forget which, but there's a side quest that involves him. But then there's also, in Skyward Sword, there's the one guy that kind of has some similarities to him.
That one shop owner.
Rupin? Yeah. And then Breath of the Wild has a Happy Mask Salesman, but it is not the Happy Mask Salesman. So, a bit interesting. Whenever I was playing it, I liked, in my own headcanon, even though it's completely baseless, I liked imagining that it was the Happy Mask Salesman wearing a mask and pretending to be the other person. But that's just my thought. But I'm gonna go with what Ilya said and say, yeah, I would like to see how he got, like, give us the side story that also happens to be a prequel and answers some of the questions that everybody wants to know about Majora's Mask. Miss Click, what about you?
I saw someone, and I was actually talking with the Mountain about this, my hubby, for those of you who don't know. But the Hylian asks, and it's listed here, what if Ganon was the protagonist and Link is the antagonist? I thought that was really cool, but if I would spin it a little bit, I personally would love to see if Link and Ganon, and then obviously like Zelda or whoever is the holder of the Triforce of Wisdom, they have to team up against someone else who has the Triforce of Power. Because he like stole it from Ganon type, the Ganon type character or something, but the character that was holding it wasn't necessarily bad, or perhaps the other two is found, but then somehow they find out the true destined wielder for power, you know, who that would be, and he wasn't actually someone evil, because power doesn't have to be evil, it's just because his heart was malice that the power was used wrong. Because technically with the wisdom, with the courage, like, it's kind of hard to see a negative spin on those because we haven't, but I'm sure they could find a way to do so. So I think it'd be cool is if there was a different antagonist and Link and Ganondorf had the team up. I think that would be pretty dope, you know, just because you'd get to see more interaction or more kind of skill set that this character who normally would be the antagonist, kind of see how he would interact, you know, to be the hero of sorts, you know, like how would those team fights go instead of, you know, Link shielding the light arrow to hit Ganon, you know, like what if it's like a tag team, like 3 of them, someone shoots the arrow, deflects off, and the other one, like, I don't know, it'd just be really cool.
That's really
seeing
cool.
the Triforce come together as one.
Exactly, and where it's not 2 against 1, it's all 3 taking down this big huge foe, you know, someone else. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's
Demise
sort of unlikely allies
came back.
Like if Demise came back and they had to use the Triforce against him in each of them, and then Demise being like, see, you should be hating just like I do, and Ganondorf be like, no, I'm nothing like you. Like that would be so cool.
Teen angst Ganon.
Well, he could be older. He could be like, I fought my whole life, and you've said nothing but bad name for my people. You know, kind of have like a little bit of the Wind Waker. Like the Wind Waker is like the saddest Ganondorf because he's just like, the wind brought you prosperity in life, and it brought death and destruction for my people, you know? So it's kind of like have that backstory in there, you know? It's like people think that we are nothing more than these thieves, but I want to set my people right, you know, stuff like that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, and then like with Ganondorf, I have a video where it talks a little bit about this, but in the video I use a Dragon Ball Z comparison to the people watching that know that, to where I said, if you relate, I guess you could put Demise in the same boat as Majora, because we don't really know what Demise's end goal was. But with Majora, I said he was more like Majin Buu or Kid Buu from Dragon Ball Z, to where he just wanted to cause chaos and destroy everything. Whereas Ganondorf was more like Frieza, to where they just want to roll over everything. Whereas, like, they want to keep the kingdom as intact as possible because they want to be the leader of it. They want everyone to respect and worship them with, and if he destroys everything, there's not going to be anyone left to worship him. But with Majora, he didn't care. He was willing to kill himself along with everyone else, causing the moon to crash. So, in a way, I could see it play out to where, if, you know, someone like Majora came along, to where Ganondorf's like, you know, I'm usually the bad guy trying to take over, but if he destroys Hyrule, there's not going to be anything left for me to rule. So I could see a situation like that.
That would even work, or like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's really great. I haven't thought about that in a long time. All right, anyways.
I'm starting my next fan fiction.
Yeah, fan fiction. Where's the next question coming from? Do you guys
have fun. That was I found.
Funny.
Say, it says it's from Townsend Kevin or Townsend Kevin. I'm not sure which way that needs pronounced. Says, why did the Zora evolve into birds? And someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is when in the adult timeline everything flooded, there were a lot of dangerous creatures in the ocean, so the Zora slowly evolved into birds to adapt. And then you could be like, well, what about Breath of the Wild? Well, since at least a lot of us seem to be of the mind that that is a converged timeline, and sort of Breath of the Wild being the converged timeline, they just continued evolving, thus the Rito that we have there being more bird-like.
Yeah.
I think there's a few different theories as well that I don't really have myself like a settled on one explanation. One theory being like the gods changed the Zora to Rito to prevent them from finding Hyrule, which was at the bottom of the sea. Makes sense. Another is that the Zora are freshwater fish, so they survive in the ocean. But then again, the Zora and Majora's Mask do. So there's that, take it with a grain of salt. But also, like, the Zora have evolved constantly over all 3 timelines. Not just the Dorito's the most extreme example, but the Zora look different and evolve in all 3 timelines. And then in Breath of the Wild, we have a whole variety of Zoras that have evolved in different ways. So it's possible that they just, with Breath of the Wild having both of them, that some of them evolved into birds and some of them evolved into just more different types of fish. And it's weird, but I mean,
it's Zelda.
It be how it do. So
That's just the circle of life in Zelda.
yeah. So there's just, I don't have one firm thing myself, but
You have little kids that turn into little wooden creatures. You have
yeah, I mean,
that poop out
That's weird.
gold. you have fish that evolve into birds. Makes sense, right?
Which kind of happened in real life. There were fish creatures, and then there was land, and so food came on the land, and then they came on the land and became the dinosaur.
Dinosaurs are cool. All right,
Yes.
who's got the next question?
Hey everyone, it's me again, Elia Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like. And comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.